People thought Lazarbeam's video game could be the next Fortnite. But with only 10 people playing at any one time. And comments calling it the worst game I've installed. Something clearly went wrong. It all began with this tweet here. I am making a game. I ain't telling you anything yet. The most liked response gets a skin in the game. Wishlist the game on Steam so you can test it with us. Mr. Fresh Asian had made a similar tweet, attaching a short trailer giving their fans a sneak peek. Screenshots on Steam showed graphics like Fortnite, which made total sense, as this is what their combined over 30 million followers already played and naturally enjoyed. World boss, guys. Planet and I love this game. We've been working on it for a while. Definitely come test it with us. Can't wait for this game. Looks like lots of fun. Hyped for the game. Can't wait. This game is about to be the new Fortnite. Additionally, it was being developed by Australia's largest video game developer, who'd clearly done an incredible job when they'd finally released the open beta. Players found it to be a mix of Fortnite and TF2. Players are dropped into an arena and have to kill other players to move up the ranks. Upon reaching first place, you're given the role of world boss, who has extra health and armor. Although everybody now knows your location, the gameplay showcase gained 200,000 views, implying loads of people would be rushing to install it. Naturally, Lazarbeam and Fresh also began to promote the game. Fresh posted 2 dedicated videos, totaling north of 3 million views, whilst Lazarbeam filmed the game with Lachlan. Before officially promoting the game's release, I spent 365 days making a game. Alright, that's World Boss. Obviously, it's still early access on Steam. But try it out, give us your feedback. Having added another 5 million views worth of exposure, the game seemed guaranteed at least moderate success. Comments read: since you guys are popular, you guys will instantly have a popular game. Although for whatever reason, this simply didn't happen. Despite almost 10 million viewers learning about the free game, it achieved an opening peak of just a little over 1,000 players. The month after, it was 800. Then 300 the month after that. Showing that the game clearly had some problems. Of the hundreds of negative Steam reviews, most mentioned the game's poor graphical performance. One user wrote, "This just feels like a laggy Roblox/Fortnite clone. I can only run 45 FPS on an RTX 3080. Whilst another said I have an RTX 2080. And I get 40 to 60 FPS when fighting. Lower settings. The game is not optimized at all. Getting terrible FPS was a universal problem, as was the game's constant unexpected crashes. The game's early problems were best summarized here. I mean, it's pretty fun, but it needs a shit ton of work done to it. There are so many bugs that are real easy to fix. You guys should have done more work to it before release." These reviews were acknowledged and rectified. We got mixed reviews on Steam, because the game kept crashing. But we fixed it. However, later in the video, Lazarbeam experienced more bugs of his own. "My RPGs aren't firing. Look away, look away, look away." Joking that the game is perfect and nothing is broken. Despite this, the game was now crashing less frequently, which should have helped it retain a player base. Judging by reviews such as it'll be a good game once they fix all the technical issues and bugs. However, even after these problems were solved, World Boss was still rapidly bleeding players, as the gameplay itself also had many issues. It gets boring quickly, and I don't get anything out of the gameplay. This game gets boring way too easily. The gameplay is somewhat okay at first, but gets repetitive quickly. Sadly, the game seemed to lack any meaningful variety, with the official Twitter page even joking, My favorite thing about World Boss is probably how unique of a game it is. I mean, how often have you seen guns in a video game? Guns, truly pushing boundaries. The game lacked meaningful objectives or worthwhile goals to work toward. Becoming World Boss was the only primary target. The objective was really to just be World Boss. And just have an HP buff, and that's it. And people complained that even this was too difficult to be fun. 99.99% of games you join are almost 15 plus minutes in. And you spawn with over 500% less health than every other player. I spawned in with 1000 health. The World Boss, who's supposed to be the best, has over 7.5k health. What a legit joke. To put me in 5 straight games at level 1. When the World Boss and 4 plus other players are level 15 plus. With 5 to 10x my health is laughable. As a result, players completely ignored the World Boss and just tried to fight each other. Instead of everybody teaming up to take down the World Boss, people would just avoid fighting the World Boss altogether and just keep fighting amongst themselves to level up. Which kind of made it a mediocre shooter with no real advantage over other similar games. Another issue was that the mechanics weren't intuitive. For example, when Fortnite was first released, you could watch someone play it for less than 5 minutes and have a decent understanding of the entire concept. With World Boss, however, even after watching many different videos and playing multiple rounds yourself, the concept and objectives are still pretty foggy. It seems the only thing that did work well was the World Boss in-game item shop, despite the fact that the game launched in a broken and unfinished state. It had full-on microtransactions on day 1. Good to know that despite the terrible condition this game is in, they prioritized adding microtransactions over playability. Obviously this wasn't really Fresh and Lazer's fault. However, their promotional activities weren't perfect either. For example, when World Boss first came out, Fresh hadn't made a video in more than half a year. And returning specifically just to promote the game wasn't exactly the greatest look. The thing is, Fresh quit working on the game and quit gaming in general. And Lazarbeam just clearly gave up after that. Lazer only ever made the one video about it. And perhaps sold it a little too casually for something they'd spent so much time on. 5 months after they opened early access, the game was down to 160 concurrent players. At which point Lazarbeam appeared on Impulsive. When the game came up in conversation, Lazarbeam talked about it being a difficult business, mainly owing to extreme competition. Lazer further added, "To get people addicted to playing your game is like a very difficult task. So hard. So I can promote it as much as possible. But it's like they're not gonna endlessly just play it. Because I say, hey, play the game. With promoting a video game being extra hard, as you can't promote it in every upload like Feastables or Prime. Being unable to thrive without constant promotion. The World Boss player base only fell further. However, the game's full version release had the potential to bring it back to life. That announced that everything is changing in World Boss 1.0. With a brand new map and an actual objective in each game. Lazarbeam was hyped about the new updates, which had reignited the interest of over 100,000 people. However, again, for whatever reason, this simply didn't translate into actual players, with the official release barely making an impact. That very same month, PlaySide released their yearly financial report, announcing losses of $5.7 million. There is a risk that new title releases are not received in a positive manner by the market, or generate the anticipated level of player engagement. This can lead to lower than expected revenue, possibly referring to World Boss. PlaySide therefore accepted that it couldn't be saved, and completely stopped updating the game. The official Twitter and Instagram were both abandoned, whilst Laser and Fresh both stopped talking about it. This dropped the player base lower and lower, to the point of being unable to fill a single lobby, creating a brand new game-ending problem. No one plays this, it's all bots. Every single lobby is just bots. Lobbies are entirely bots if you can connect to one. Now I'm not accusing them of putting fake players in the game, but like 90% of these people feel not real. Each lobby needs at least 14 players, which the game rarely has at any one time. Therefore, in every single game, you're just versing 13 other bots, who are so incredibly easy to beat. You can get hundreds of kills with just a couple deaths. My first game I got 185 kills, love it, against bots. These lobbies are so unchallenging that once you get world boss, you can just stand still and have the entire lobby spraying you, without it barely having an impact on your health. The current state of the game is best summarized here. The so-called players are bots, and the game is way too easy. And it's pretty shit.